Mary, is that really the theme today?
Huh?
Is that really the theme song today?
We got a whole bunch of Halloween stuff today. I'm playing with Halloween.
Okay.
It's the theme till the end of the month.
Yeah, it's and where to go, for spooky places and fun
Fall
things.
leaves. I mean, I even got this.
It's David out in the backyard.
We got coyotes, not wolves.
Okay, I just thought there was David out in the backyard.
Oh, I wish. He's whiny today.
Oh. Tell him I said hi.
I will when I go back upstairs. I'm downstairs in my hole.
You're down in the down in the cave.
Yes.
Bat cave. Batman.
You know it. So what'd you think of the new logo for the show for the holidays?
The one that I saw this morning. Wait a minute. Let me just go back. Travel Tuesday, Surge365. It's all like, is that leaves all around the outside?
Leaves and spider webs and
That's good.
That's cute.
say, haven't you learned yet? I get big on the holidays.
Well, I didn't remember Halloween. I don't know. You get big on the holidays.
Last year I didn't just because we were still transitioning in the move and we lost most of our stuff and didn't have a lot of money to get stuff. But this year we brought Halloween back. We have to get into Halloween to get into the Christmas spirit. You got to start with the holidays. And my kids are gonna flip a lid when they find out what they got for Christmas.
What did you get for Christmas?
They are getting the brand new Switch 2.
The new what?
The new Nintendo system, the Switch 2. It is the only thing that was on their Christmas list.
Christmas? When's that?
Rick.
See, some of us who aren't loaded plan like all season to make sure. Because I still have little kids with in-demand demands of toys.
I remember.
You remember the whole Cabbage Patch days and the Elmos.
Oh boy. Do I ever.
Now it's electronics and it's the Switch 2. So I had to order it now so they get it in time for Christmas.
When our kids were young, we could get away with just going to like the dollar store and just getting a bunch of toys. And they thought it was the greatest thing.
I remember when I was little, one of the things I wanted were the plastic dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And Mom couldn't find and I got farm animals. I didn't want farm animals. I wanted dinosaurs.
But I got dinosaurs
and Ron got dinosaurs when he was like, I think we were like 10.
I still had them when I was an adult, when
I
we got
got
married.
goats and pigs.
Oh.
Now we know what to get Linda for Christmas.
Yeah, one of those plastic bags with the whole different assortment of
That's
dinosaurs.
it. That was it. That was it. Yes.
But that was cool.
Hey, Rick, I have to tell you something quick before you start. That you sent that Res Life travel connection that I made the little icons a little smaller. It fit on one 8.5 by 11 sheet. It is so fabulous.
Oh,
I
nice.
It has all the information. I just added at the bottom questions. Call Linda at my phone number, and
Wow.
I have been handing this out instead of the 6-page one.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. So,
Wow.
and with your icons that you put, it's so cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh. Hey, this is a learning experience, and that's one of the things that we want people to realize. We're changing a culture.
Yep.
The corporations have convinced us you have to go through Expedia, Travelocity, Priceline, and
Booking
with
it.
all of them. But and the thing is, and this is what people don't realize, that there's a group, Expedia and Priceline, travel groups that own all the other booking engines,
Yes.
and they set the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a set price, like you say, Ron.
Fix.
Price fixing. Price fixing.
Well, actually, it is. That's what they did.
Well,
That's what
he came
Sears
from
did in the 60s, and they got sued millions. Now, one of the reasons that they haven't come after the travel industry, it's so international, and you have to file in every country, and so that's what's protected them to be able to do what they're doing. But they've got competition now. They didn't know, and they know about us, but they really don't know about us.
There is no one in the world that has the Vortex. Why?
Well,
Because it's a creation of Surge365.
yeah.
And there's, listen to what I'm saying. There's no one in the world that has Surge365's Vortex that allows regular folks like you and I to have access to a multi-billion-dollar industry and the profits of a multi-billion-dollar industry, to be able to come on board with the Surge package, the Surge travel package, which includes a travel agency access. Remember the old-fashioned travel agencies? They all shifted to the internet, and they're called host travel agencies now. But to have all the access of a travel agency as a career opportunity, to have a wholesale travel club membership, which is like the vacation club packages that American Express sells for like $10,000 plus, but to have a wholesale travel club membership with lifestyle benefits and a concierge service, right? And then included in this package to have the Vortex booking engine for customers that you can give out complimentary, and they can book from this Vortex. And there's no one in the world that has the Vortex because it's a creation and of our making, where we say, okay, here is the price that we say is parity, a set basic price for travel in the industry. The Vortex, when someone books a hotel, cruise, or car, goes out and looks at that price and says, hey, think about the access that this is globally to $1 billion industry. When someone books a hotel, it goes out and it looks at that price of parity and it says, hey, let's go ahead and has an algorithm, add a discount to this for this customer who gets this free complimentary link, and that they would save 85 to 90% of the time on this set price. And let's pay the owner of the Vortex 100% of what's saved. That's crazy. Globally.
Well,
So
that's created such an incentive And because we're looking at it through the eyes of using it as a fundraiser for nonprofits like a church, it's an incentive. And in a case of a church, it's stewardship. And it's a good use of money. And it's an incentive for people to take advantage of what we're offering.
That's powerful. And so when you've got a trusted source of, like a church, a congregation, where the church says, hey, I want to use this full surge package and for my church, for my organization, for my business, turning travel expenses even into revenue. But let's say a church, I want to use the full surge. So the church comes on board with the surge package, the travel technology package. And they have the three major programs. They have the travel agency access, they have the wholesale travel with concierge service, lifestyle benefits, and they have the Vortex for customers or congregation. And they say, hey, I want to use the entirety of this package to enhance what we're doing within our church. Let's use the Vortex for fundraising. Okay. Let's give out this free complimentary consumer booking link to our congregation. Trusted. They trust the leadership. It's not going to give them something that, whatever. So they give it out to the congregation and they say, hey, congregation, this is a fundraising tool. We're raising money. Give this link out to all your friends and family. Put it on social media. It's the same link, right? So when anybody books through that link, the transactions are basically attributed to the church. And so they give out this link and they give out this link. 100% of what is saved, when they give out this link to the congregation gives it out to all their friends and family. They put it on social media. 100% of what now is saved comes back as corporate dollars to the church as a fundraiser. There's billions of dollars being made in online booking. It's like $637 billion. And we have access to that now. And so as we approach the holiday season with all of this travel, now flights are competitively priced. The biggest area of savings is going to be hotels, accommodations, cruises, and car rentals. And Ron, I just actually saved $237. My kids are coming here for Thanksgiving, and we had to get a day in, and went to budget through the membership, and I think it saved around $237. And then I said, wow. So we get deeper savings on the wholesale membership. I said, what would this have been had I been a Vortex customer? And so I have a Vortex link that I can go and check the prices. And so I went through my Vortex link to check the same rental period and car, van, minivan. And it was like 130 some dollars that customer would have saved. And the 130 some dollars would have been what comes back to that church. Comes back to the. Now imagine if they gave this out to the world and they booked that same car. That's 100 some dollars coming back each time. Now that's powerful. That right there is absolutely powerful. And so when you look at using the Vortex for fundraising, for the church staff, they have the wholesale club membership. So now the church is they have people that are traveling all over the place and conferences and different things. And they go through the church's website, for booking to get the wholesale prices. And they can add up to 4 names. And so they can rotate these names through when, okay, this person's traveling. Okay, let's get the flight, let's get the hotel, let's get the car through the wholesale club membership. Again, flights are going to be competitively priced. But they get it through the membership, and now they're rotated. So it's saving the church a lot of money on staff travel because now they're rotating that through. And then the third product, now I gotta say, we also, as well as getting money back or savings, we earn something called reward credits. So when someone books through the Vortex, the complimentary link, not only is the church receiving 100% of what is saved money-wise, for every dollar that customer spends, they're earning 1 to 3 reward credits. that's rolling back to the church. Now, these reward credits are kind of like credit card points, right? You can spend them on anything in the program on the Surge website. And so not only are they collecting corporate level money, they're collecting corporate level reward credits. And so you can get hotels, cruises, cars. You can buy anything, gift cards with these reward credits. So there's going to come a point where they're not even spending their money, right? They're using the reward credits to pay for everything. So, but the third product is the travel agency access. Now, this is a little different and it's a little interesting. Why? Because it's online training. It's a career opportunity in hospitality and tourism. And so, who is that for? That's something the church can decide, or the individual can decide. Ron, you and Linda have done such a fantastic job with the travel agency access part of this and taking that travel training. What has that done for you, taking the travel training?
Well, one of the things it did, it allowed me to become kind of proficient in helping churches to send mission groups, mission trips to. We've gone to South America, Cuba. That's a trip because Cuba is an illegal country for most people to travel to, and it's communist. So there's even more dangerous, and there's danger involved there. There is everywhere in the world, but those in particular. But we've been able to specialize in mission trips because of the training that we've been able to get. Um, we become proficient and we became certified with the getting around for people with special needs because of the roundabout, get about uh, little scooters that you can rent. Our last cruise, I had a scooter that I picked up at the Carnival cruise ship line and drove it right onto the ship. And then when
Wow.
I got back, I drove off and left it at the gate and I walked away.
Oh,
And I
no.
had, for the whole cruise, I had a little cart that I brought into the room every night. And I have transportation. I didn't have to use crutches or a cane or anything. I had to get around. So that was something I learned and had available through the Travmanity and the training that we're able to get, especially. We've done Travel Agent University. What I find out interesting about that, there are people that pay $10,000 to go to a community college or down in Florida, Daytona. I'll tell this story. We were then in Daytona using one of our awarded free trips, 7-day stay. We were in Daytona, and right across from Daytona 500 is the Daytona
Hospitality.
Hospitality College, and people
Oh,
spend
really?
Yeah.
they spend tens of thousands of dollars to get a hospitality degree, and then they got to get a job after that. Well, for the price of a phone, somebody can own a business and do the same thing and get the same travel education program for free. For goodness sakes, what a
We
deal!
love I love taking a lot of the webinars that are free and they're just online. You learn about things. We have learned about the a new travel insurance company that we're going to take care of. We have a new we have clients going to Japan, and so we found a company because we took a webinar
Travmanity webinar.
to have any webinar about a company that will help put everything all together, and you can win prizes. We have won
Hotels,
airline
airfares.
tickets. We won the what a swag bag is what they called it, with all kinds of really neat stuff. Just for listening. But I take notes. I take screenshots of things, and it's I'm not on every single day, but when I'm home, if there's one, I'll take advantage of it.
What's interesting is that it's free. As
Yes.
people are spending thousands of dollars to go back to college, to get a degree, graduate, and find that there's people already out here with their degree and experience looking for a job. And here is something that, travel is recession proof. It's growing like crazy. It's $11.1 trillion, expected to grow to $15 trillion, by 2030. And so there's a future in travel. But to be
And
able
you
to
got
take
the
this,
holiday travels coming up, which is a huge travel time. But also, if you get stuck trying to set up a travel with somebody, you can call the company and get a direct line to talk to like Carnival Cruise,
true.
and they help walk you through that. Or flights or trains, or it's not where you're on your own trying to figure out how to navigate these different areas.
That's an important point, Mary. When you go into the Travmanity back office and you look at the suppliers list, we have direct access telephone numbers to all the suppliers around the world. There's no way you could actually find those numbers. But we have a directory of all the vendors around the world and their direct numbers, and for the different countries, broken out by the different countries. There's no way you could find those numbers. And by the way, I was going to ask Ron and Linda, are you guys Commodores or Princess Cruises to get the free
The
graduation?
word is not yet.
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. Okay, because that's a good deal. So
Yeah.
Princess has, and all the cruise lines, they have their own training programs. And in particular, Princess has a training program called One Source. And so we have access, once you complete the basic training within Trapmanity, first class training, you now have access to request a password and a login for the different cruise lines. And so Princess is called One Source. And it's an extensive training to become, the goal is to become a Commodore, and they have different rank levels. But the ultimate is to become a Commodore with Princess Cruises. Once you complete this training, they've got a whole list of cruises that you can look at and pick whichever one you want. So now they want you to experience the product. So a free cruise for two, anywhere they cruise. You take a look at the list, and now you're experiencing the product real time. So my wife Brenda, she completed the training, and I've told the story before. So she was going through the list and she saw a 15-day Western Europe cruise. And normally the longer cruises are taken immediately. People are like watching, getting the longer cruises. But we saw it. And she says, Rick, we should book this. Book it, Brenda. Book it now. Right? So she books it. And so 15-day cruise. We didn't realize, the ships, the cruise lines do repositionings based on the seasons. We didn't know that this was a ship repositioning that didn't come back to the United States when we booked it. And so we booked it, and they're like, does this come back to the States? Oh, this is a ship repositioning. And so it ended in London. So left out of Fort Lauderdale, Azores, Portugal, Spain, Paris, London, Stonehenge, and they dropped you back off at Southampton. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But we're in travel. We're quick on our feet. We said, hey, since we're over here, let's catch a flight over to Germany and visit an Air Force base in Germany, Ramstein. And so
And hop a cot.
we flew into Frankfurt. Actually, we went through Belgium. We tried to get a military hop, Mary. We couldn't catch a military hop because somebody was doing something and all the hops were like taken. So we finally ended up taking a commercial flight from London to Belgium, and then from Belgium to Frankfurt. The Belgium airport was like a super mall. I mean, just food and stores and
Chocolate.
chocolates. Belgium chocolates. And, I went in there, Ron. That's why when you guys tell your story with the little round balls of whatever there, I bought like every flavor of Belgium chocolate. I mean, every flavor. I was like, I want that, 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 I want that. I mean, just got everything. And so we finally get to Frankfurt. And it's like, okay, this is travel when you're free. You're free to figure it out. And so we get to Frankfurt, and we said, let's take a train down to Ramstein, which is about an hour and a half south of Frankfurt. It's like, okay, where's the train station? and so, and there's like rushing. People are just going everywhere. And so we find out where you could catch the trains. And it's like Union Station. The trains going here, there, everywhere, a major hub. And so they have the online where you get your tickets. And we're looking at this thing and trying to figure it out. It's like, oh my gosh. And this guy comes up to us and says, hey, you guys need help. And we're like, yeah. And he goes, where are you going? We're going to Ramstein. Okay. He types in. He says, okay. And the tickets come out. He says, can I have $5? I'm like, Brenda, give him $5. That was worth it. The train was leaving like in 10 minutes. And so we got on the train and we're riding the train down to Ramstein, and we're seeing towns like Frankenstein. Like, oh my gosh, it's real. And we finally get to Ramstein, the town. Ramstein, there's an Air Force base there. And we get to the train station in Ramstein. And it's like one of those scenes from a movie. So we get off the train leaves, and there's nobody around us. I mean, the station is like on the other side. It's this little small depot kind of station. Nobody's there. It's closed. Nobody's around. Nobody's walking. Nobody's doing anything. And we're standing there with our luggage, and the train leaves. And the train, the little depot is way on the other side of this road here. And we're like, okay, how do we get over there? But we're blessed. We're blessed. There happened to be a cabbie out there cleaning his car. And so we finally walk all the way up the street and down the street to get to it. And he's there cleaning his car. And we're like, hey, we're trying to get to Ramstein. He's the only one there. There's like nobody in the whole town. It's like, where's everybody at? One of those scenes from the movie. He says, oh, yeah, I can take you there. I've got on-base privileges. And so we hop in, and he takes us to Ramstein. Little did I know, when we were leaving from London, I was trying to get the reservations for the Ramstein Inn before we got there. And little did I know, they responded with my email saying, hey, don't come. We have no rooms. But I didn't see it. And so we went anyway. And so we get to the Ramstein Inn, and she says, well, sir, we don't have any rooms, but hey, here's something I can do for you, Ron. We're like you guys. We're always getting blessed, right? She says, I can give you guys a pet-friendly condo that has 4 bedrooms. If you want, it's pet-friendly, so people have had pets, whatever, maybe some dog hair, whatever hair. Oh yeah, we'll take it. So we had this 4-bedroom condo, while we were at Ramstein. I'm like, this is amazing. And so from Ramstein, we go to the ticket office on Ramstein Air Force Base, and they have all these different, advertisings for tours you can take and different things. And we find one, Rhine Cruise, Castles of the Rhine. And we're like, that should be neat. Let's do that one. And so we take this cruise, Castles of the Rhine. And we're just going down the Rhine, and hardly anyone is on this little cruise line. And we're just in there just relaxing, drinking hot chocolate right at the front of the ship. And it's just beautiful, the beautiful castles. Makes you wonder how they built those things back in the day. But they're on this ride on the left, and I'm taking pictures. And I tell Brenda, hey, I'm going to go up topside and take some pictures. She said, yeah, go ahead. And I go up topside, and I'm there like by myself. I mean, it was just perfect time. There was nobody around. And I'm just going from one side of the ship to the other side of the ship, and I'm just taking these beautiful photos of these massive castles. And I've got my headphones on, so I'm listening to some really nice music and just kind of relaxing and chilling. And so I come back down, and Brenda's drinking her hot chocolate. And we actually put our card in, and we won a cuckoo clock, And I mean, well, a really nice cuckoo clock. I got so tired of it cuckooing, though, when I got home. I was like, oh, shut that thing up. But we took 6 weeks. We took 6 weeks. And so on the return of that trip, we're like, okay, how do we get back home? We came over on the ship repositioning. How do we get back home? Do we take a commercial flight, or do we catch a hop? Mary, you would love this. And so we're at Ramstein Air Force Base. So I go down to the passenger terminal just to see what the schedule is. And so I'm talking to the guy, and he's like, we have a C-1 something cargo plane you can leave out. Or what I would recommend, we have a 747 with some troops that are returning from overseas deployment. He says, I would recommend that. And so I said, sure, put us on. And so we returned to BWI in Baltimore on a 747 jet. And we had a whole rows to ourselves laying out, like the troops were laying out. They had the whole plane. And they were just taking such good care of us and feeding us and giving us snacks and blankets and pillows and just a beautiful ride back to the States. Sometimes when you travel, you never know how you're going to do what you do. You just put yourself out there. It's that spirit of adventure, I think. You just put yourself out there and figure it out as you go. And so we make it back to BWI, and these were troops returning. You heard me tell the story before. And so these troops, they've got massive crowds out there waiting for them. And so we said, like, okay, let them have their glory. Let's wait, Brenda. Let's not get off. Let's just wait on the plane. And we're hearing roars of crowds, roar, 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 returning troops. And so we wait about 45 minutes after they all get off till everything dies down. We're like, okay, it's clear. Let's go. And so we get off the plane, and they're still there. Kids running up to us with the little cards and little sayings on their little birthday little cards, welcome home cards. And I was like, oh, yeah. But like you said, Ron, I didn't get that when I retired. So we took it in. Thank you.
You are a hero.
I could have done like Mary. I could have said, okay, where's my? I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my first grade teacher. But yeah. And so, but we made it back to the States. And so we're there in Baltimore at the airport. And we get a call from, Laura Cross.
Yeah.
And she says, Rick, it's snowing in Colorado. You may not want to come home yet. And we're like, it's snowing in Colorado. Ay, ay, ay. And so we said, okay, what can we do? How can we extend this out? I said, well, let's catch a military hop down to South Carolina, where Brenda's family is. And so we get on a military hop, and that's when I think it's like a C-27, those huge ones, huge planes. Yeah. And that's where they let me sit in the navigator seat. And I was speechless. I'm sitting there, normally, you got the 2 rows of like 70 people at the, in the cargo bay, and you got your luggage strapped down in the middle. And so I'm sitting there, and one of the crew masters comes by and says, hey, is it possible for me to go up and take a look at the cockpit during takeoff and landing? He says, let me go check. So he goes up, comes back, and says, hey, Rick, or he says, hey, I got you one, I can do you one better. He said, they will make room for you to come up and sit in the navigator seat during the flight. Right behind the pilot. Oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, bye, Brenda.
So for people who don't know, when you're sitting back with the cargo strapped into a little plastic chair, think of back when you are in an F truck, a Ford or, F-150, those lumber trucks on a dirt country road. That is what it's like.
That's exactly what it's like. And so I go up, I'm climbing up the stairs, get to the cockpit because it's way up from the cargo bay. And you're like, there you go. There's your seat. I'm right behind the pilot. And the most amazing thing, this huge aircraft, huge aircraft takes off without hands. And I'm like, wow. It lands without hands. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I was speechless. I really was speechless. So, needless to say, we make it to Charleston, have a great time in Charleston, and the snow melts in Colorado pretty quickly. And so, we make our way on a commercial flight back to Colorado. And 6 weeks later, but that's travel.
Now, what'd your wife say about being stuck in the back while you got the luxury seat?
Well, when I came after we landed, since I did such a great job navigating that flight, so I come down and you got the rows of people like, where did he go? Where did he go? He disappeared. So I came down the stairs and climbed down the stairs and said, so guys, how did you like the flight? I said, how did you do? How did you like how I did? And they're like, ah. And so Brenda's sitting there. She's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this guy?
You'd never ride in the back of those if you get motion sickness or you get over it really quick.
I know. But, that's travel. And, it adds an adventure to
It does.
a boring life. Just to
That is
have. Go ahead.
the one cool part about travel, though, because you can have every laid plan out there, every contingency plan to man, and I'm one of those. And crap will hit the fan, and one thing will fall apart, and you got to wing it. And I think it's really more fun to wing it.
It is. It really is. It really is. Now, one of the things that was really interesting, though, when I was over in this 4-bedroom condo and time was winding down to go home, I was like, how am I going to get home? It's not that we couldn't just catch a commercial, but it's like, how do I get home now? We actually put ourselves in a situation like, okay, it's time to go home. How do you get home? And I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. And Brenda's sleeping. I'm like, okay, we got to get home. What's the best way?
Worst case, an average citizen would just go to their consulate or their embassy.
Well, worst case, you just buy a commercial flight.
True, but if you don't have the option for that because you spent all your money on your trip.
Yeah. 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 And yeah, and that's one thing about the website that we have, because in Surge365, you have 2 booking engine websites. You heard me mention the Vortex. So the Vortex is a complimentary link. The prices are so low, they're password protected. So when you give that Vortex link out to a customer, they actually have to create an account. And the reason they have to create an account, because any price in the public space, like Expedia, Travelocity, it has to honor the set price of parity. They come to an agreement, even with the vendors. That's why a lot of times, if you go and you check the price of a hotel, it's the same as if you go to the hotel, or if you go through Expedia, or if you go through Priceline, you're going to basically see that same price. That's parity in the industry. We're able to pass on our savings because ours is closed door versus open door. And so ours is password protected. So now we can pass on these deep savings because we don't have to honor parity. And that's a big deal. And because we don't have to honor parity. And so, but, it's just interesting to have that kind of access, which makes it cool. It makes it really cool. So after this whole 6-week period, we finally make it back to Colorado, and the snow is melted.
There is no doubt, Rick, that Surge365 has a value to you and your family, and then people that you've encountered in your life, the incredible ability to change the course and the quality of life that you and Brenda have. But it's not even good for you, it's been good for people. In fact, I would suggest that the reason you've succeeded to the level you have is because you've been a servant. You've helped others. You've enabled them. You've empowered them. And when you do that, the law of prosperity, God's law, will do nothing but pay you back multiple times. And that's why you are where you are and what you're doing and who you are.
Amen. Amen. What I was going to say was with Vortex, you also get the consumer. You have two websites. You have, thank you, Ron, for that. You have the Vortex, which is password protected, but you also have a second website that you can give out to customers, and that's the Travmanity consumer facing website, which is a booking link that's powered by a company called Fairbuzz. Excuse me, and this is where the price is going to be comparable with Expedia and Priceline. It's a public site that they don't have to log into, create an account. They can just go there and book. Some people don't want to create an account, but they can go to this consumer-facing site, Travmanity, and just book. And we get paid commissions on that. Now, on this consumer site, where they can book, they can also get their passports and their visas on this site. They can also, it has Ticketmasters on there where they can buy tickets. And we get paid commissions on all of it. They can get travelers insurance with a travel guard. They can click on a CDC site, a link, and they can check on any health related information on any country in the world on the CDC travel advisory site. And so this consumer facing site is really powerful in and of itself. And this is what you also have with Surge365, the Vortex, as well as a consumer booking website where you don't have to log in, but you still get paid commissions. And that's why, like we were saying, Linda, if you're doing this as if the church is doing this as a fundraiser, they can give out the Vortex link primarily because there's deeper savings and we earn 100% of whatever is saved. But they can also, at some point, on a case-by-case basis, if someone doesn't log into the Vortex or they don't want to sign in, log in, create an account, I just give them the consumer booking site and they can book there, and that church will still receive some benefit, which is a good deal.
It's really cool too. It's not like we don't get incentives besides the commissions, Rick. Um, the company did a study years ago, or was part of a study, and it was revealed that people who take vacations are healthier and are less likely to have heart attacks and strokes. So what the companies does is they are forcing, if you're a member, you're an owner of a Surge business, they award you a 7-day stay to make sure you take a trip and get away. And we've been fortunate before the change of the company a couple years ago. They made it now as a first year incentive. Now it used to be you could continue doing it by maintaining a level, which we did. So we got multiple 7-day stays, and now we're turning them in, and we go away. The hotel's paid.
Ron, we have two. I'm not sure where we want to go. We have two that we have with us. Hotel stays, over 3,000 locations, and we're in Charleston. And so we're looking and saying, okay, there was a shrimp festival in Beaufort, South Carolina, and we thought about using one for that, but it's only 2 hours away, so actually an hour and a half away. So we ended up driving to it. We said, where should we go? What a problem to have, right? And so I'm going to go on the map and take a look on the map at all the different stays, within whatever kind of a radius of us, and look at using them and booking it. But it's 7 days, a 7-day vacation stay. What would you do with a 7-day vacation stay? The last one we used was Steamboat Springs in Colorado. and for Brenda's birthday, and we had such an amazing time. And it was in between ski season and mountain bike, when everything's just the transition to when the snow melts. They call it mud something. And but we went there, so it wasn't a lot of crowds. And Ron, we had such a great time. And that's when we went out to the hot springs in Steamboat Springs, strawberry something. I forget the name of it. And you go there, and they've got different hot spring pools at different temperatures. And you talk about Ron, you would love it. In fact, you should do that for your next trip. You need to go to an outdoor hot springs and just relax the body.
We've actually thought of that, and it is one on the list of things to do. And we're still looking for this coming year. We're kicking off our travel season. I call it our travel season. We go to Cancun, and we got our room is already registered. We're all set up, and because we've done this program, taking advantage of it, they actually, when we fly into Cancun, we're going from Buffalo, direct flight to Cancun, and we just have to do. I think we have to stop at one airport along the way, maybe in Florida. But I avoided going to Baltimore, which I don't care for. Orlando. We're going to Orlando and then to Cancun. On the way and the way back, all our transportation needs are already booked and taken care of because we use the package that Surge put out.
Wow. We're going to meet you there.
Yes.
Dancing in the moonlight.
There we go.
Now, that's lifestyle. One of the things that Surge brings to people is lifestyle, where a person has to think within, what type of lifestyle do I want to live? A lot of times people are just caught up in the workaday hustle and bustle world. They never get a chance to slow down and breathe and to create the lifestyle that they deserve, that they long for, that they dream about. And that's what this is, and that's just talking about Cancun. And one of the last times, of course, as a company trip, we were in Punta Cana and at the steak restaurant, and wondering where the party was going to be, the beach party was going to be, and to come out after this amazing meal to find that it's right next to where the steakhouse is. We make mistakes and find things, right? We do most things by accident. Like, oh yeah. And then to walk over there, and you met my good friend, fellow Gideon, Jim Wilson, and we're talking, and I know I couldn't hear anything anybody was saying, but it was such a great conversation because of the music playing.
Well, music was playing. The beach, the waves were crashing up on the beach. Yes, and by the way, it was more food. And the DJ was playing Dancing in the Moonlight, which we started doing. And it became our theme song. So whenever we're going to talk about travel, we just start singing that song. And, it's a fun thing to do with the friends that we've made and the friendships and the love that we've been able to share. And I'm just looking forward to share more with more people, more times.
We was on that cruise, the Hope Cruise that you set up in Cozumel, and the atmospheric occurrence that happened when we got off that ship, and to look up in the sky and to see the bowl, it's like an upside down bowl from horizon to horizon that was like over the entire area. And it was an atmospheric, I forgot, I looked it up at the time, but it was an atmospheric occurrence that caused that kind of a reflection of an upside down bowl and getting off that ship and then looking from horizon to horizon, 360 at this thing. I'm like, where are we? What is that? Did you guys see it?
I saw pictures that you took afterwards. We were
I'm like, what is that? And you were like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world or what? And and I looked it up afterwards. It was one of those kind of atmospheric reflections.
nominally.
But the time that we had, and we got split up because Brenda and we was walking into town over there for the tourists, and we walked and we saw Joel and Ardith and Lynn Kane, Captain Kane, and they were in this one bar area. They had music playing and different things, and so we walked in, and Brenda went over and was talking to Ann and Ardith, and I was over talking to Joel and Lynn, and you talk about a moment in history. Can you imagine those two greats? And I'm just listening to the conversation, and they're just talking, talking, talking. And I'm like, wow. And we're in Cozumel, and you got the music playing in the background. It's nice and sunny, and it's a beautiful, beautiful bar setting, and all the greenery and all that. And I'm like, I just had one of those moments, Ron. Listening to Lynn Kane, Captain Kane, original fighter pilot, Top Gun, and Joel Griffin. Can you imagine being in the middle of that? And I know you can because you've been there before.
It's such a privilege and an honor, and then to be able to share it even today is so special. And I just look at our life that how since Joel recommended it, we get a hold of you and Brenda, and you really ought to listen to what he's got to say, Ron. And I'm so thankful we did that. And we never would have met. Our paths are, you're in Colorado, we're in Buffalo. There just wasn't any way our paths would have ever met without that third party friend recommending that we touch base. And then Joel said the other key part of that was not just to connect with you, listen to you. And when we listened and acted upon what you shared with us, our life changed.
That's an important point that a lot of people don't get. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, okay, where to from now? Serve, volunteer. Your life is moved by the people that you meet that take you to that next level. That happens when you actually open yourself up, to people, because there's somebody that has something to pass on to you to go to the next level, to get unstuck, to cause movement. Friends cause movement in life. New friends cause new movement in life. And so a lot of times people are just, they don't want to meet anybody new. They don't want to serve. They don't want to volunteer. Volunteer in the community. Volunteer at your church. Volunteer to serve someone. That actually causes movement in your life because you're going to meet new people that have new ideas. And they'll have something for you. You'll have something from them for them. And there'll be this beautiful exchange of information and flow. And you can move together. So when Joel said, connect with Rick and Brenda, he knew me talking to Joe, he took me to another level. I'm like, oh man, when I heard him on Burl Walk's radio show, and I was hearing how he was describing, network marketing, and how Burl would say that 80% of the people that wake up in the morning hate their job and the job that they go to, but they don't do anything about it. And so I'm listening to these conversations that I'm in total agreement with, but had never really heard anybody articulate it. That you need to own something in life. You need to get involved. You need to take more control of your life. And so Burl's talking, and then Joe gets on. He starts talking about logistics and how product is moved and all the things that, he's expert in. And I'm just listening, and I'm like, wow, I need to meet that guy. I need to meet that guy. And after several months of listening to him on the show, and Brenda and I would talk about travel on the show, He called me. Ron almost fainted, right? Like, hey, Rick, this is Joe. Like, really? Oh my gosh, Joe, I've been trying to meet you. And we must have talked for about an hour. And I was like, wow, my day was made. My life was made. It took me to a whole nother level in life. Then, of course, he says, I need you to talk to Ron and Linda. Like, really? Okay, definitely. And of course, he was telling you, you need to talk to Rick and Brenda. But he brought us together.
Yes, he did.
He brought us together and so the people that are listening, there's someone that you bring together, that you have something that someone else needs. And Ron, and that's what Surge365 is. It's a tool that you can, with confidence, share with someone who's looking. Now, I always say there's no assertion, there's only attraction. So you can't force it down anybody's throat. But if somebody hears there's something inside of them that's attracted to it, then there may be something there, and it's on that person to pursue what that is. When they feel something, like all the things that we share on this call, we talk about our travels, we talk about the product, we talk about our friendships, we talk about, just lifestyle. If there's something inside that touches a person's spirit, their heart, pursue it, because you want to find out what is that. And your heart will never lead you wrong. Heart intelligence.
Rick, it becomes purposeful actions besides having the friendships and besides making new acquaintances and learning about folks and where their heart is at. It's about taking purposeful actions that move someone further down the road to closer to what they were on and they do want to accomplish. And we so many times are just caught up in, and I'm not, believe me, I love the friendships. I'm all for that, and I fight for it. I want it. I love being around the folks that we've met. Oh, it's Glenn and Chantel. Heck, they live the other side of the country. But there's nothing better than we get to meet on the beach somewhere, and now we're going to do it again. And so I can't wait to do that, to be able to put our arms around them and give them a hug, and they'll do the same for us and renew our spirits, because we are challenged in this world to be an ambassador for the kingdom. And we're both doing that together. And so just offering other people to join us.
One of the most beautiful experiences that I know that you guys have had and I've had was in San Diego when we were walking down the hall and saw Coach. And he stopped and prayed for Linda. That was a moment.
Treasured.
That was a moment to treasure. Coach, the founder of Surge365, walking down this busy hallway, and we're like, hey, there's Coach. Let him pray for Linda. He needs to pray for Linda. And Coach prayed for you and Linda. And of course, us by connection. He prayed for us too. And that is a moment to cherish. And remember, because prayer doesn't die out. I mean, prayer goes on and on and on.
It's a seed.
It's a seed. It's a seed. It's a seed that never dies. And
Coach's vision of what he has evolved and brought where we're at today is Surge 365, Trap Humanity, with us having the values of all the things and the tools that he worked so hard to set in front of us to use. And his vision was to continue it forward. And I'm recognizing today we're his honorary Charlie Kirk Day because of what his vision was and what he's doing. He's being recognized by the president later today. Well, his memory, his vision is going to carry on. Well, same thing with coaches. And now that's what we're part of, that vision of
It's true.
reaching out and touching lives.
It's true, and the vision never dies. One of the things that Coach, the founder of Surge, used to talk about is a plan to rescue the middle class, and Surge and Travel being part of leading that charge to throw out a lifeline to the middle class, to give them access to the wealth of the industry, travel industry, the career opportunities within the travel industry, and of course the savings, wholesale savings of the industry. But using the tool Surge in its the totality, saying, okay, let's throw out this lifeline to the middle class to create, income coming in, those $1,000 bonuses. That power line just paid out some major money. So the compensation plan, what's nice is that, in a lot of companies, they say, oh, you just make your money by recruiting. We have 32 streams of income on the travel side and sharing the opportunity. Of course, money is made in sharing the opportunity as well. But those $1,000 bonuses, those $10,000 bonuses, and then adding, the additional money stream coming in with what we call that power line, which I believe this month paid out over $5,000 extra dollars to the $1,000 bonus. And just amazing opportunity to create wealth on the marketing, to create additional wealth on the travel side. You guys, you take this cruise in Europe and you come home to a $800 check on your own cruise, but access to the commissions that are paid on the travel side. It's going to somebody. And unless you have a tool that allows it to come to you, you are a consumer. But Coach had the vision of saying, okay, how do we provide this to the middle class, to give them a one up? And then you had mentioned this earlier, the 7-day vacation stay. The reason that came about was it forces people to take at least one vacation, one 7-day vacation a year. Why? Because people are not taking vacations. I don't know if you know this, but there's 768 million unused vacation days. 42% of Americans don't take vacations. They use 0 vacation days. And what that equates to is $65 billion in lost benefits. So when a person joins Surge365, we're saying, no, you will take at least one 7-day vacation. How about that, forcing someone to take a vacation?
Hey, it was really nice when we stayed at um, the Embassy Suites. It was a resort, not a hotel, a resort. And when we went to Disney, and that was right outside the gates of Disney, we got to stay there. We used our 7-day stay to stay at that hotel, so we extended our vacation. It was paid for. The only thing I did have to pay for parking. That was $14. Well, I'll tell you, that was really tough to take. And then last year when we went to St. Augustine and we stayed down in Daytona, and our hotel was right across from the Speedway. And I'm telling you how great that was. And that again, well, that didn't cost us anything. That was a 7-day stay. We turned it in, used it for. Well, we ended up going mostly to St. Augustine, the town we love, and so we just drove up there. But we did some visiting while we were in Daytona too. After all, that is a speedway, and that's where we learned about the hospitality college that was right across the street from the Daytona 500. That's what we learned that people were spending $10,000
Yeah.
plus fees, plus books, plus staying at the college. I mean, the cost to get what we got for a price of a phone.
Wow. I got to say before we close, Ron, you made me a believer in the 7-day stay, because I wasn't sure when they launched it. I was like, does this really work? And I'm like, I don't know. And then when you guys reported your stay at the Embassy Suites right out Disney, I said, oh, wow, it does work. So I got to thank you for that, that you made me a believer in the 7-day stay, because I wasn't sure if it worked. And then you confirmed that actually it does work. I should have known that it worked, but I hadn't had experienced it. So, but when you shared what you guys did at the Embassy Suites and all, I mean, you just, I mean, ran it down, all the things that you guys did. And then, of course, being able to go to Disney. And I know next time you go to Disney, Linda's going to get a scooter too.
Yeah.
But you made me a believer.
Well, we just have been so blessed. And so as we talk about this last hour of Travel Tuesday, we're not bragging about it. We're saying what's our conversations is an invitation. And we invite you. And of course, invitations are there. And the only way they can be taken advantage of is to join. And so that's our extension of our invitation today.
Coolness. Hey, well, we will see ya.
Thanks. Talk to you
Thanks,
later.
Mary. Great job, Mary, on the logo.
Yes. Woo.
Mary, you are artist extraordinaire. See you guys.